Welcome back to another episode of Tech Tuesday. I'm MJ, your product support manager here at JBS Equipment. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to remove the floor drive gearbox off your E-Series spreader. This also applies to older narrow bodies.
You always want to glove up before playing around with oily stuff, because everybody knows your nose is never itchy until you've got oil all over your bloody hands. So what I'm doing here is we're going to wrap some zip ties around one end of the hose and then one end of the fitting. That way if and when it comes time to reassemble, we know what hose goes where. Now if you've got multiple hoses, let's say more than 2, 3, 4, or 5, I suggest either getting a couple different colors of zip ties or maybe doing combos like 2 and 2, 3 and 3, something like that, just a way to give it a differentiator. Now we've got a 7/8 angle head wrench here. Oftentimes these can be handy, but not an absolute necessity. We're going to crack each one of them loose. Here you can see you use that stepped end, makes it get in there a little bit easier. Nice and loose. Okay, now prior to pulling it all the way off there, grab a hold of the plug you're going to use. That way if oil does come squirting out, you can get that plugged off right away. Take your JIC cap here, wind it on. We will repeat for the other side. You can see a little bit of wiggle on the hose there. If there's a bit of tension, just pull around on the hose, get those threads all lined up nicely, and it'll pop right off of there nice and easy. You shouldn't have to wrench it the whole time. Once again, spin a JIC plug in there and cap the end of the hose, or the end of the fitting. We don't want contaminants into the hydraulic system. That'll just wreak havoc later on. I like to give them a little snug up with the wrench here. That way we don't have it dripping and leaking all over the place. All done. Grab your rag, clean your hands off. Ready for the next step. Okay, what we're going to do here is we're going to slide a floor jack. At least that's what I'm choosing to use here. We need to support the gearbox before we go and loosen off any of the bolts or hardware. We don't want it flopping around. Alright, using a 3/4 inch wrench and a 3/4 inch swivel socket on a 1/2 inch impact, we're going to remove all 4 of these bolts. Alright, the end shaft washer or keystock retaining washer here is held on with another 1/2 inch bolt. So 3/4 inch socket and an impact, zip it right off here. Then we'll get ready to remove the keystock using a pair of vice grips. Grip onto that keystock with the vice grips, give the gearbox a bit of a wiggle, and that keystock should slide right on out. Alrighty, prior to removing the gearbox, lift it up a little bit, pull that sandwich plate there out. Pick up on the gearbox a tiny bit, slide whatever you're using to hold the gearbox up, out and out of the way. Now it'll fall down. You might need to wiggle it back and forth on something that's a bit older. Now, caution, this thing is really heavy. So please be careful if you pick it up, or when you pick it up and put it back down. I have made and seen different kinds of lifting jigs to do this, but I decided just to pick it up. Alright, insert grunting noises here. Pick her back up. Do your best to line it back up onto the shaft. Slide it on, nice and easy. Let the gearbox roll down. You can get ready to lift it up and put the keystock back in. For reinstallation, pick the end of the gearbox up, grab your key stock, slide it back in. A little bit of a wiggle, and we're good to go. Alright, next here we're going to grab that little sandwich plate, slip it over the end, and then we're going to pick it up, slide it the rest of the way on, and we'll get to bolting it here shortly. Okay, just a little side note here. When you go to install this key stock, you should be pushing it in with your thumb. Please, no hammers. You hammer it in there, you will never get it back out. Once the key stock is fully seated in, you can grab your little lock washer here, retaining washer, 3/4 inch socket and impact, give it a quick little zap. We'll be coming back after to torque this up. Next, we can go ahead and spin all the nuts and washers on the end of the bolts. Grab your 3/4 inch wrench and 3/4 inch swivel socket with an impact gun and just snug them up. Nothing crazy here. Like the end shaft washer, we will be torquing those. Okay, next we're going to be torquing up these 1/2 inch bolts. We've got this digital torque wrench set to 90 foot-pounds. So you can go ahead and torque all those up. Okay, for the end shaft washer, same size bolt, so same torque spec, 90 foot-pounds. Nice and tight. Okay, once all the bolts are snugged up and torqued, time to move on to getting the hoses reinstalled. We'll pull the plugs and caps off. I like to start with the inside hose. Much easier to tighten it back up. Once you've got it threaded on there, snug it up good. About 1 full flat of rotation should be perfect for this size of hose. Well, that concludes today's Tech Tuesday video. Please check our social media platforms for more videos and updates. If you have a video idea you'd like to see, please leave them in the comment section below.